Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Pastor Zainab here, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for considering to subscribe and to love our videos. The reason why I am doing these videos is to make you know that God is faithful, God is able, and there is absolutely nothing that God cannot do. Now, the story that I'm about to give you, it is going to raise your faith. And I want you to know that there is nothing that you're going through that God doesn't know. There is no pain that you're going through that God doesn't know. And this was when my son was about 11, 12 there. And I remember I used to tell my son that one day he will go to a boarding school. You know, as a single mom, you are alone, you have no money, you unafanya tu kazi hapa na pale, you don't even know how the future of your child is going to be. And I used to tell him that I would take him one day to a boarding school, one day to a boarding school. So one time as we were talking to my friend, another friend of mine, who used to be a very, very close friend of mine, she asked me, have you ever thought of taking your son to a boarding school? Nikamwambia, yeah, I have always thought to take my son to a boarding school. It has been my dream, it has been my desire. And my son also looks forward for the day I will take him to a boarding school. You know, as a single mom, all that you want for your children is for them to get education, and especially when you don't have anything to give your children. You have no property, you have nothing. The only thing you can give to them is education. And when you give them education, you will be sure that they will succeed in life. Okay, now, we had a conversation with my friend. She was wealthy, she had a lot of money. And I don't know, just from nowhere, she told me, Zainab, I want you to do something. I want you to go, and I think God had seen our desire or something, because I used to tell my son, and my son was looking forward for that day that I will be taking him to a boarding school. So my friend, we had this conversation, and she told me, I want you to do something. I want you to go and look for a good boarding school for your son. Hey, and I will pay everything. You just go, because the schools are closed. He's going to class 7. Go and look for a school now that the schools are closed. And if you get an admission, let me know. I am going to pay everything, and your child is going to go to a boarding school. Hey, talk about excitement. Talk about excitement. Brethren, I was super excited. I went home because, you see, as a single mother again, your children are your friends. You always want them to be close to you. You want them to feel, you take care of them. Again, there is like a bond that you have with your children when you are a single mom. And I remember that time I went home, I was so excited, I was so happy just to go and break the news to Akili. He's now a lawyer, to break news to him, just to tell him that, you see, Auntie so and so has said that she is going to take you to a boarding school. And my son was excited. Have you seen a happy child? That boy was very, very happy. And she told me, Mom, are you sure? Are you sure Auntie so-and-so is going to take me to a boarding school? Mommy, are you sure? I am going to boarding school in class 7. I said, yes, you're going to go to a boarding school. God has answered our prayers. And we were celebrating in the house. Then my friend tells me, Azana, the only thing I would want you to do. Now, we went. I didn't have a car, of course. Life was just the way it wanted to be. You know what I'm talking about. You don't even have money. You have small money in your account that you've been saving slowly and slowly and slowly, so that you guys will not lack food. You guys will not lack rent. That time I used to pay my rent at 2,000 shillings. It was like a single room. But like a single room, kalikuwa kana tutosha. Hapa ndio umeweka kitanda. On this other side is where you're cooking from, and the other side is a living room. All in all, God was faithful. So she told me, she said to me, the only thing that I want you to do is just to buy uniform. No, that time she had not spoken about uniform. I remember I went to Murang'a. Somebody told me about a very good school in Maragua. So me and my son, we took a matatu. That time I didn't even know where Maragua was. We just took a matatu to Maragua. We went to a very nice school. By then it was doing very well. And my son did an interview by God's grace. He was interviewed the same day, and he passed the interview. I was given admission letter, and I was told when the schools open, you bring him. He has already been considered. And we went home very, you can imagine how my son was feeling. He was a young boy. He was jumping all over. We were so excited that God has come through for us. The only thing I wanted to give him is education. Because I knew, I don't even have anything that I can say it is mine. The only thing I can give him is education. So we were so excited, got into a matatu back, I called her. I told her we've got a school and it is a very nice school. And then I told her I've been given everything. Mpaka karatasi za kubuy uniform. I told her everything on phone. She was, oh right, that's nice. But the only thing I would want you to do, Zainab, I will pay the school fees. How much is the school fees? By then, the school fees was only 15,000 shillings per term. And then, so I told her the school fees is 15,000 per term, and the first term, second term. I told her everything. Nikamwelezea kabisa everything about the school, and I told her I've liked the school. It is in a good place. I spoke. I was so excited. So she told me the only thing you will do, just go and buy uniform. You just go and buy uniform only and leave the rest to me. So I didn't have money. I only had like 8,000 Kenya shillings in my account. And that is, I think, 7 or 8 there. That is the only money I had saved for a long time, because we used to pay our rent at 2,500. You don't want your house to be closed. You are there just praying and believing God. Actually, also for your life as well, because that time I was recovering. My life was not very good. I was really suffering. Now, I told myself, this is a day I have been looking for. And now I have to go to my account, take that money, niende. I didn't even buy uniform. Nilienda nikashonesha. Nikasema mimi sina pesa ya kubuy uniform, tena nitashonesha. Nikaenda kwa fundi wa nguo. So the fundi wa nguo nikamuonyesha hizo uniform na kila kitu. Then fundi wa nguo told me, the tailor, I'm sorry. The tailor told me, okay, we are going to, the only thing I bought was socks and sweater. Socks, even the sweater, I didn't buy at that sweater that is just original. I just told another lady who had a sewing machine to do for me a sweater, because I wanted to buy uniform and at least I remained with some money in my pocket. The Chronicles of Single Mothers. Now, after that, I nikashonesha nguo. Then I called her and I told her, wow, I thank God that the grace of God has been sufficient. Now all the clothes are the fully. And I believe by maybe 2 days, the uniform will be ready. You see my son. You see the excitement. Now, then I told her I will be going to, now the schools are almost now coming to open. Very close to open. So I am busy running. I had a box. I had a box, this box za shule, that I was using it in my high school. I didn't throw it because my dad had bought a very, very strong box for me when I was going to Form 1. And it had not spoiled. And I had it where I used to live. So I said to myself, let me go and just paint this box and, and buy some blanket and bed sheet. Of course, where I was buying them. I don't even want to go there. So I am busy. Then schools opened. I was waiting for the school to open so that I can go and take a transfer form for my son and inform that previous school that my son is going to a boarding school. That time he was going to a public school, but somewhere in Buruburu. And so I was excited. I told my son, now we are going to school to take a transfer. School had opened by 2 days. So children were already in school. And I was busy running up and down to make sure that everything that I wanted was in that box. So we went to school and we went to the staff room and everybody was looking at my son, calling him by name. Hey, you're not coming to school. And my son, I'm going to boarding school. I am going to boarding school. Bye guys, I will miss you, but I'm going to boarding school. And he was running and greeting them. He's like a small boy, greeting them, telling them, me, I'm going to a boarding school. I'll see you. Thank you, Nini. And he was so excited. See me now with the transfer form and everything, holding my son's hand. We are terribly excited. Dangerously happy. Everybody could say, hey, when God has come through for you, that thing you've been looking forward for, that thing you want. You know, you always feel so excited. So that time, tumefurahi. And then tumetoka kwa gate, alafu naambia, there's another guy who used to sell for them, ilikuwa inaitagwa nini? It was called tumbukizo. I don't know what it was called, but it is mandazi, then anawekea soup ya maragwe. So my son used to eat their lunch, because me, I wasn't living in Buruburu. I used to live far from Buruburu, so he would take 5 shillings to school. But you know, see the way I really tried even to take my son to a good public school far away from where I was living, because where I was living by then was just like a slum. So I didn't want my son to go to that school. Then now, so that guy who used to make him mandazi and supu ya maragwe. So I was like, Mommy, let me just go and say bye-bye to him. And my son went and I was bidding everybody bye-bye, because now he's going to a boarding school, and that has been his dream. Here we are, coming out of the gate. The schools, I'm supposed to take my son to school tomorrow, because right now it's early in the morning. We have been transferred. We honorably left the school, and now I am calling my friend just to inform her everything is ready, and my son is gonna be going to school tomorrow. Hey, now I called, she didn't pick. I called again, she didn't pick. I said, let me just text, because maybe she could be busy. I texted. Actually, I was texting on the way. We wanted to take a matatu going back home so that we can. I was born again. I believe God. I was even preaching. I was a preacher. God had already called me. So I was a traveling minister going from one church to another. So I called her. She didn't pick my call. Then I texted and I told her, Mom, we have finished everything. So I'll be taking my son to school tomorrow. You know what she told me? With all that excitement. Aliniandikia message, and she said in that text message, you too can pay the school fees. You too can pay the school fees. I thought I was dreaming. I didn't have money. The only money that was left on me was about, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000. And now she's here telling me, me too, I can pay the school fees. I thought I didn't see well. I thought I didn't see well with that excitement. My God, Aki, the Bible says, cursed is a man who put his trust in a man, but blessed is a man who put trust in God. That day, I saw darkness on the way. I saw darkness. My strength left. I wasn't able to lift up my feet again. I wasn't able to see in front. Ushaisikia, wah! Like everything in your body has shut down. I told my son, Ebu tuketi hapa. So we sat somewhere down. And she was like, Mommy, what is it? Like, I'm gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be fine. So I am trying to control myself from crying, brethren. I'm trying to control myself because I am on my way back. I have not even taken a matatu. I am devastated. Where will I begin? I have already taken a transfer. And I told her that I'm going to go tomorrow to take a transfer. My son is not in school, in any school right now. He has been released from Arambe Primary School and headed to a boarding school. Now my son doesn't have a school to go to. I don't even know what I'm gonna do or where I will even begin. Remember, I have already made the uniforms of the new school. Sijui kama unanishika. What will I do? Where will I go, brethren? Here I went home. We used to live in a single room, which had a double decker. So I was waiting for my son to sleep. Apparently he wasn't sleeping. I could not control my tears anymore during the day. Nikafika home. Usiku ikaanza kufika. I think it was about 3 or 4 now. I've been trying. I'm just in the house. My son is not going out to play so that I can cry the way I wanted to cry. Niliona siku mrefu na niliona giza wapendo. You can only imagine how I felt. Because of suppressing the pain and the devastation and frustration, I bursted into tears while my son was there. I cried loudly, and because the box was on the chair, the box was open, and I was going through what I had, before we went to school, I was going through what I really wanted, and if everything was okay. So I didn't even cover the box. The box was open, the padlock was there on the side. Because of the pain, I could not hold the pain anymore. I could not suppress it anymore. I cried. Ooh, I cried. Then my son looked at me, cried. He said, "Mommy, what is it?" I said, "Auntie so-and-so, I was disappointed. As where will I take you, my son? What will I do? Hauna shule sahi." And even he got shocked. "Hey, Mami, amesema nini?" Nikamwambia, "Amesema hata mimi naweza lipa. My son, I only have 2,000 in my account. Mimi sina do. Hata sasa ukiitwa shule nyingine uende, mimi sina pesa hata ya kununua uniform. Sijui hata kama nitakuingizaje kwa shule nyingine. Hata nikitafuta shule nyingine, what will I do?" Wote wako shule at that time. Brethren, if there is something that broke my heart, was that thing that lady did to me. I knew she was a rich woman. She could have afforded to take my son to that school. But she decided just to, wait. Sijui nini nilingia. Sijui kama ni uchungu alikuwa anataka kuniweka. Mimi mwenyewe mama maskini sina chochote. Sijui alikuwa anataka kuniweka uchungu. Sijui alikuwa anataka kufanya mtoto wangu asisome. Sijui alikuwa anatakaje. Nilijihurumia mama maskini jamani. Nilijihurumia, nilililia God. Nilililia God hiyo usiku, nikamwambia Mungu, nimekosa tu 15,000 ya kupeleka mtoto wangu shule na kuna kila kitu. Nimekosa tu doo ya kusomesha huyu mtoto. Huyu mama alikuwa anafanya hivyo aniumize na rafiki yangu, ama alikuwa anatakaje? Na anajua life yangu yote because she was my best friend. Alikuwa anajua story yangu yote. Alikuwa ananipatia tu job hapo namfanyia. Ananilipa. Anajua siwezi afford 15,000. Anajua kabisa siwezi afford. Nilichanganikiwa. Nililia like karibu 2 hours. Alafu mtoto wangu akakuja akanishika. So my son hugged me tightly. Wacha tulie na yeye. You can imagine tuko kwa single room, tumefunga mlango. Nililia na mtoto wangu wapendwa. I'm telling you the pain I felt that day of poverty, the pain of lack, the pain of somebody looking at you, and I'm thinking she just had decided to hurt me. She had just decided to break me. You know what I'm talking about. The pain was going through my veins. My heart was pumping in pain. My son cried. And now we were crying like somebody has died, man. We were crying, we couldn't even shed tears politely. We really cried. I will never forget that day. Now, we cried, then I felt in my heart, I should just go to my archbishop. I should just go to my archbishop and I should just go to my archbishop, because my archbishop used to know her. I should just go there and tell him everything that happened, because now I didn't even know what to do. I wanted the archbishop to help me because I didn't even know what to do. I went to Huruma. Those that know me, my Archbishop Arthur Kitonga. So I went to Huruma and I booked an appointment. I told the secretary what happened, and I said I want to talk to the bishop. So Archbishop accepted to see me. Then I went there. The following day I was broken. I was broken. I didn't even know. So I began crying, and because he used to know my friend. So I told him everything about my friend and everything, and my son doesn't have a school to go to. And then he told me, go down there is an office that they sponsor children. Tell them I am the one who has sent you. They should take your child and buy for your child everything and take your child to school. I went there running. those guys, they knew me because I used to preach there also. So they came in, nini evangelist, Bishop Aminituma, kitu fulani. May God bless Bishop Arthur Kitonga. May God give him long life. So they said the only school now, Bishop Kitonga Academy, we have already taken our children. We have already bought for them uniform, paid the school fees. The only school we can take you is another school down there. I said it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. If you're going to take whichever school you're going to take him, at least he will not be out of school this term. And it was first term of class 7. He's almost becoming a candidate. So they gave me uniform, everything, books, everything, and they told me I should report in that school the following day in the morning. So I went. I told my son, good news, there is a school tumepata, and that school iko hapa nini. So nikamwambia my son, I'm going to take you to school tomorrow. We got excited, but not the way we were the first time. So I took him to that school. Then after, I think, was it few months, or he finished a term there. I can't even remember kama alimaliza hiyo term hapo. I am not sure if he finished that term in that school. But I remember we went to that school and they later called us. They later called us and told us there is a space in Bishop Kitonga Academy. We can go, you know. So they took us, they called us and they gave us an opportunity to go to Bishop Kitonga Academy. So my son went to the academy, to Bishop Kitonga's academy for a term. I think it was the same term. I don't know, because Archbishop wanted my son to go to that school, Bishop Kitonga Academy that is in Huruma. I don't know if I went that term or it was the other term. I can't remember very well. But they took us to that school. Now that is not even the testimony. God is an amazing God. So they took us to that school, and my son was there at Bishop Kitonga Academy for one term, I think. Then I was invited to go and preach somewhere in Gilgil. Maybe huyo. Just as usual, the people used to call me to their churches to preach. So I just went just like any other day, you know. So I went to Gilgil to preach. Let me just finish this story. I'll continue doing what I'm doing. I went to that church in Gilgil. I preached over the weekend. I preached on Sunday. So after preaching, the pastor then, the reverend who was reverend then now a bishop, told me that there is a couple here that was in this church and they liked the way you preached. And they said we should go with you for lunch. They want to take you to another, you know, those tourist hotels for lunch. And they want to talk to you. I said, well, fine, that's okay. That's okay, that's in order. So after the service, took kind of lunch. Is it Elementaita Lodge, something like that. So we went there for lunch. Then when we were eating lunch, the wife of that man asked me, do you have a child in school? I said, yes, I have a child in school. Akaniuliza, how old is your boy? Nikamwambia. Ako class gani? Nikamwambia. My son is in class 7 and he goes to Bishop Kitonga Academy. And she told me, would you mind us? Would you mind if we take your son and bring him to our school? You have been a blessing to us. We want your son to come to our school. It is a boarding school. It is called Gilgil Hills Academy, and we are going to take care of everything. You don't worry. Hey! Hey! What did she just say? And then the husband said, oh yeah. The husband is the one actually spoke to me. But the wife said, you can pay as little as you can afford. The school by then, it was 40,000 a term. A better school. A well-doing school. Those that know, I don't know if it is still performing the way it used to perform then. They should pay me for advertisement. So they told me I should bring the son next term to their school. By then, after those, I think 2 terms, God had already began blessing me. Kidogo kidogo, I began saving. So Nikaenda shuleni na they told me to go to school so that I can pick the admission form and everything. Mimi huyo teke. Nikaenda shule, nikapatiwa that same day. Nikapatiwa the admission form and everything. And then so we were waiting for the schools to close so that I can take my son to Bishop Kitonga to Gilgil Hills Academy. And I am telling you, that is how God came through. My son, who is now an advocate, who is now not only an advocate, a very, very intelligent advocate, went to boarding school. Alienda boarding school. God gave us the desires of our heart. God came through for us. I couldn't believe it. Even if we were not very excited like we were before, but we took him to that school. Akamalizia hapo class 8. At the end of the day, I think after we cried and cried and cried, my son only went to those two schools one time because he went to Gilgil Hills Academy class 7, second term and third term. Then hapo ndio alifanyia KCPE. Why have I given you this story? It does not matter how broken you are, if only you can call on Jesus. It doesn't matter how you're feeling right now, who has broken you, God has a way out. You know, apparently, I did not even break my friendship with that woman. She called me after, I think, few months, and she told me, mko aje, mnaendeleaje? Tuko tu sawa, unaweza come. And I imagine I went, and I told her, please, ako Bishop Kitonga Academy, Bishop took him, and she did not even feel anything. But listen, God came through for us. At the end of the day, mtoto wangu akaenda boarding school, akamaliza huko class 8. We were so excited. It is a school that I could not even afford. You know, the other one was 15,000 was a problem. This is 40. And they told me I should just pay what I can. I will not even tell you how I paid and how much I paid. But let me tell you, that was the best school. It was one of the best school that time. And that is where God took my son. Usivunjike moyo. Maybe you have been heartbroken by a man or a woman in a relationship. Don't worry. God has another person for you. Maybe somebody wanted to cut down your dream, to cut down your vision. Amekuchongea, amekuchocha. Don't worry. God will still make it to come to pass in his own way. After terrible heartbreak, after crying together like this with my son went to a better school than the Maragua school.